Hello?
Hi, is this Lori?
Yes, it is. How are
Hi,
you?
how are you, Lori? I got conversations with Val and Sal. We have Lori on the line. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this show started, and you guys have a wonderful evening.
You won't have to see like, know just what it feels like. Come over and dance with me. Oh, baby.
Welcome back to Conversations with Val and Sal. We are live in the studio once again. I'm your host, L.A. Jackson. I've got my co-host, Miss
L.J. Johnson. How are you, my friend and co-host?
Girl. We've been missing you. We had to post pictures up around the studio just to keep you around here, girl.
Wow, it's so good to be missed and loved. That's just a wonderful feeling.
Well, we certainly do. Well, listen, we've got some special guests, as always, in the building today. I've got my good friend from days gone by. I think we're pushing on 10, if not 15 years. I got this guy. I don't even know where to start with him. I knew of him like right after the So Deaf days that he was the creative services director there, but his resume is just so elongated. I'm just going to have to let him talk about it, but his name is SIR ROD Patterson, and he just presented me with this great book, and it's called The 10 Commandments of the Stage. And when you hear more from him, you will know why, because this guy is all about the stage. He knows a lot of stuff. He's worked with a lot of the artists on So Deaf. So, Sir Rod, welcome, man.
Hello.
And meet LJ.
Doing? Hey, LJ, how you doing?
I am doing well. I just love the fact that we have so many legends on this show. It's just incredible. Again, welcome to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, tell us. Before we even get to So Deaf, my brother, what brought you into the music game, and what drew you in before So Deaf, and then we'll get into So Deaf, because I know you got a lot to say about that.
Oh my goodness, we only got an hour, right?
I know, so you better talk fast.
All right, well that actually, I really was against music. My mom, we always played music around the house, and my uncle would bring the guitar over, and it was just part of the house, but I never really paid any attention to it. And just so happened, this was back in 1978. I'm dating myself, but back in 1978, my neighbor, which was my best friend, won some tickets to a Michael Jackson concert. Yeah, the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
And I did not want to go. His mother asked my mother if I would help him attend the concert with him. I didn't want to go.
What?
I didn't want to go see.
Did you not hear of them before? Or what?
Heard about it, but I didn't want to go see a little boy.
Wow.
Spinning or whatever he was doing at the time.
My favorite album at that time was that ABC album, man.
All I remember from Michael was he back then was the cartoon and him and the snake. That was all I knew.
Wow.
So anyway, long story short, my mom made me go. I had no choice in the matter. But went there. It was jam-packed. Lights go down. Michael hit the stage, and then I realized Michael wasn't a little boy anymore. He was like in his 20s or late teens. And my mouth was open from the beginning of the concert to the end. And I always say it was kind of like the Blues Brothers. You ever saw the Blues Brothers where he had that religious experience and started doing blackfield?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was kind of like a life-changing experience. I left there. I didn't know what or how, but I knew I was going to do something with music at that point. And I've been in music ever since I was 14. I was 13 then. I went home and got in front of my mirror, started trying to do my Michael Jackson move.
Wow. Now that's funny because we had Haywood Tucker in here last Friday, and I've known him. He was my studio mentor when I moved to Atlanta back in '82, and he let me revamp his studio and everything. Wow. And we've been good friends, but I never knew what brought him into music. And he gave me a similar story that he went to a concert and was blown away and knew that was what he was going to do.
It happened to me. Lenny Kravitz.
What?
He went to a Michael Jackson concert. Same thing.
Wow.
So, and the only regret is I never got a chance to be able to tell him, what he did. And that goes back to the conversation we were talking about earlier.
And by the way, welcome
mentors.
Chuck Taylor. We just
Chuck.
want to welcome our homeboy back again.
Yeah, I was waiting for the introduction.
I'm sorry, man. I was moving a little too fast.
Don't be like
I apologize too.
No, that's okay. It's all in fun.
But me and Chuck were talking about, I think it was Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
and
Dr. Dre.
said he wasn't a role model. And I said, well, he's a role model. He might be an involuntary role model, but he's a role model. And the same thing with me and Michael Jackson. He basically saved my life because at that point back then, as a teenager, early teen, Michael wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking, so I didn't drink and I didn't smoke. Michael wore his hair a certain way, I wore my hair a certain way. And those things, I really believe music is just whether we want to be influential or not. It just comes with the territory.
Okay. So then you started doing your thing and getting more involved with music. And at what point, how did that lead up to you getting with So Def?
Well, I ended up in a million different groups. We didn't sing, but I was a good dancer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I picked up from Michael, and I ended up doing the moonwalk.
I saw that video, man. You were getting down, and we'll talk about the
Right, I ended up being a Michael Jackson impersonator at some point, or with the hair. And
you didn't catch fire, did you?
Yeah, I would used to grab the microphone and at the events. I couldn't sing Michael Jackson, but I could talk Michael. My next song I like to do is going to be one of my favorites. I would do that, and the girls would go crazy. And so I made like $5,000 in like 3 months.
Wow.
On the weekends when I was in high school, going to different skate rinks, performing Michael Jackson. And
$5,000. That must have been a lot of money as a
that
teenager.
was a lot of money back in the 80s.
Yeah, man.
Still a lot of money.
To be in high school, you know.
Man.
And eventually, once I got out of school, at one point I had to go get a regular job. And I was working at KFC, and I did like 72 hours or something like that. And I just thought I was going to be rich because when I was performing Michael Jackson, I performed one time for a half hour, not even half hour, 15 minutes, something like that, and I got like $750.
Wow.
So I did this KFC job, and after I think it was 28 hours or something like that. But long story short, I ended up getting like $72. And then I realized that it had to be a better way. I had to
Started weighing that balance out, huh?
Music or the real world.
I'm telling
Music
you.
or the real world. And as the years went on, I tried my hand to try to get in the door. And I had ignored another gift that I had, and that was art.
Okay.
I've been drawing since I was a little boy.
So I guess we don't have to ask who the artist is that's doing
I
the
did. All my
renditions
layout
in
and
this
design.
great book of yours, man.
And that's what I was doing for So Def. I ended up being their creative service director, or it's a fancy word for art director.
Okay.
And I handled all their print media, their website. I worked closely with a lot of the artists, Bow Wow, The Brat, Jagged Edge, even JD. I designed a couple logos there.
Did you do that Afro?
Didn't do the Afro
okay,
Man.
okay.
I knew the guy who did do the Afro Man. He got $500 for that.
Wow. Okay.
It was on the sign.
That
the
big
So
billboard.
Def sign. $500.
With the Afro pick and everything. I always liked that thing.
I did do their Southside Studio logo.
Okay.
And I did a couple events logo for them.
And they had a couple different locations around Atlanta. I remember there was something up 85 by, North Druid Hills or something?
I think that's the studio.
Okay, that was the studio.
Or
And they had one on Piedmont, right, what was that, by Lindbergh?
This was Patchwork. the new Patchwork Studios is now, I believe.
Yeah, that's the old office.
Okay.
And then they got the one on Peachtree,
Further. Gotcha.
which they moved from the old one on Piedmont
Okay.
to Peachtree
Okay.
as the money started coming in.
Okay. Wow, man, that's really interesting.
So anyway, to tell you, answer the question how I ended up at So Deaf.
Mhm.
I was born and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay.
I came to Atlanta in 1995 and basically chasing music. And so anyway, in 1995, chasing music, I went to a couple of art conventions and I would tell people, hey, I'm a sing, I dance. And they were like, no, move out the way. They got 1 million of those. I happened to tell a brother that I had just got out of art school, and he was talking about a T-shirt or something to that effect. And I said, I can do a T-shirt and I can do a business card. And then people who had nothing to do with the conversation got in, started butted in our conversation. Hey, brother, you can do business cards? Can you do a brochure? And then a light bulb came on. I said, hey, they're not listening to me when I tell them I sing, but when I tell them I do artwork.
Yeah, that's what I need you to get
Exactly.
attention.
So I went home, I checked the phone book, I called every record label in Atlanta, and only 2 of them had art departments, So Deaf and LaFace Records. I set up interviews. I told them basically I want to intern. I would work for free, clean their brushes. They said, well, come in, let me see your stuff. The guy at LaFace Records, I think he got kind of nervous that I was going to take his job, so he was hating on me.
Wow.
And but So Deaf had a female. So I went in looking a little dapper. So I think she thought I think she was kind of sweet on me. So she gave me a shot to clean the brushes and to do all her stuff.
Did you know Denise Parks over there? She had a job doing, I don't know what her title
What was her department?
I don't even know. But they interviewed me and her for that position, and she got it.
This was at LaFace or Sosa?
Oh, So Deaf, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I might know her.
Okay.
I'm not real good with names.
Okay.
But I was there. If she was there, I was there.
Okay.
At least in my little time frame.
Yeah, it was around the mid-'90s.
So anyway, long story short, that female eventually ended up leaving So Deaf, and I was working another assignment. I was doing freelance work, going to different corporations around Atlanta, and so I had stopped going in after I was there for like 6 or 7 months. It kind of, I didn't think it was going anywhere. But evidently they noticed my work, and when she quit, Jermaine's father had them call every Rod Patterson in the phone book until they found me. And luckily I was listed.
Wow.
And they brought me in and offered me her job.
Wow.
And that's how I got in.
That's crazy.
And I was there for 5 years.
Now, Lori, LJ, do you know anything about So Deaf, or did you know anything? Because I know you were doing gospel up in Carolinas there.
Well, a little bit, know some about social death, but I did want to ask a question.
Yes.
About social death and the artists that you had a chance to work with.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit about those folks? I'm sure they were some pretty reputable folks.
Oh, yeah. I said earlier, Bow Wow. I worked with The Brat, Jagged Edge. Some of the other ones, JD, of course, I did some things for him. Actually, some artists that you probably wouldn't even think had anything to do with So Deaf, Alicia Keys.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh.
yeah, because when she first came on the scene, Jermaine's father, So Deaf is more than just a record label. They were touring company, they were management, sports management, films.
Was that all that Michael Malden brought into that
Yeah, he
fold?
brought
Okay.
a lot of stuff, and so I had to do a lot of artwork for all those things.
Man, okay.
So anyway, Alicia Keys was one of the ones I did the first little promo packs for her, and they were trying to promote her. What's his name? Bone Crusher.
Oh, wow, okay.
Crusher of the Bones.
Yeah,
Crusher of the Bones. Yeah.
He goes back. He's a mainstay here in Atlanta. I remember hanging out with him many nights over at Dugan's on Punts.
And the funniest thing, I was kind of older. I was like 30, 35, somewhere around there, 30, in my mid-30s. So I didn't know all the artists. So liable to see anybody come through the hallways. So I saw Ludacris one time. And then this one artist came through. He was a DJ. had big chains on, a lot of diamonds. And I'm like, what's this dude's name? They say, oh, his name is Swiss Beats. So I went over and asked him and say, so you do music? And he said, yeah, I do a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. He did a whole lot.
A lot. And then years later, I found out that, wow, he was a big deal. Lil Jon was working there for a minute while I was interning.
Okay. Lil Jon, that's my boy. He used to come by the Sony
He was
offices
in A&R.
and get some records from me. I'd give him records all the time. So
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be as big as he was because he was always quiet.
I know.
He was always
He
shy.
had the little black little Benz.
Yeah, what?
Little black little Benz. He just real quiet. But he looked the same. He had them same dreads, that same look.
So did he always say,
What? No, not back then. He was just doing his DJing.
No, I was just
Yeah, but he coined. To be an artist and actually get known for a phrase. That's pretty big,
good,
man.
yeah.
That's
It's
pretty
a
big.
beautiful thing.
That's pretty big. And then to have Dave Chappelle do a parody of you.
Oh,
What? Okay.
I know, right? So those So Deaf years was amazing, and I ended up get my hand slapped because I started a school touring company.
Oh, at the same time.
While I was there,
Ooh.
I had 3 business partners down in Florida. And long story short, we started the school touring company, and we started looking. They basically knew I had access at So Deaf. People would mail in their promo packets to So Deaf, and we had 400 or 500 of them in it was a room filled almost to the roof with nothing but promo packets, and they were just trashing them.
Wow.
So I went through some of those packets and just handpicked some guys because we were going to form a group to put out on the school tour. And long story short, the word got out that I was looking for talent. And I would have artists sleeping out on the doorstep of So Deaf, waiting for, not JD, not waiting for Alicia Keys or somebody, waiting for SIR ROD.
Wow.
And so I end up being like the P. Diddy of So Deaf, or no, the Barry Gordy or somebody, giving opportunity to artists. And we started our first touring company. And that first touring company, we ended up reaching like over 1 million students. Students in hundreds of schools.
That's big time. And me and LJ, we were in 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade together. That's how long we go back.
Wow.
And our 5th grade teacher, Bernard Percy, made me valedictorian and made her salutatorian. And we've just always been tight, for all these years. And now look at us together.
I almost made that, but they asked me to spell it.
Oh, that was it. That was it. Yeah, they didn't ask me to spell it. They just
I was
asked
so
me,
close.
They asked me to do a speech, but I couldn't spell valedictorian.
We were always in competition. It was so funny. Remember the Gettysburg Address? We had to memorize it, and whoever memorized the most got to go on a trip or something like that.
I know I didn't win that one.
I think I won. I might have just threw that in there just to say that I did win.
Oh, that's great.
There you
And LJ, tell SIR ROD about Ruby D. I still can't forget that story about Ruby D just singling you out.
Wow.
Yeah. We used to have these big assembly programs, and back then, pretty prominent people would come, and they would be the keynote speakers. And like Lyndon said, Ruby D was one of the keynote speakers for that particular assembly program. And she got to the end of her wanted someone from the audience to come up and read poetry with her. And it was no small crowd. It was a huge crowd of young people there for the assembly program. And I was just so excited that out of all of those me, everybody waving, want to be picked, so that they picked me. Oh my God, I'll never forget that. That was my moment.
Did they capture it on picture or anything?
You know what? I had been asking about that for like years. And Mr. Percy said at the time there were some pictures, and I hope at some point, they will surface. And if I do some more maybe just do a little bit more digging, I'm sure I can come up with something.
Yeah, I bet they exist.
But I would be great. I just really, it was just a moment, and I'll never forget. She kissed me on my cheek, and it's like it started me on my way in the, just liking the business, growing up. And I have a passion for music, and I really do have a passion for entertaining.
Okay.
That's a little bit of back.
So that was
now.
your Michael Jackson moment.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was a great time.
Okay, well, great.
Okay, we got some music coming in, and it went back out again. So hopefully we'll have some music from the Exposure. But in the meantime, while I do have you on the line, Lori, well, we'll get back to that. Right now, let's listen to Jonna Jong. This is a female guitarist off of the Exposure CD. We've got a bunch of different artists on it, and here's one of the 2 instrumental tracks. Check it out. That was called Another Blues by Jonna Jong, and she was introduced to me by my good friend Elliot Holden. He's got the other instrumental track on there called Johanny, and I think we played it on a prior show. Wonderful tracks.
I was kind of ready to go get me a daiquiri and
but
chill out watching some turtles and sitting on the beach.
But yeah, we've got some great tracks. Did I give you a
Turtles
CD
and
yet?
birds. No, not yet.
I got to get you a CD of the Exposure, man. I'm waiting for the artwork to come in the actual printed copy, which I did get that out, and any day now we should have that. Thank God for some good friends, and soon we will have that, and I will have the actual full color version for both of you guys, and Chuck, you're a musician. I hope you're on one of our future exposure CDs. What do? You play keyboards? I heard you say something about horns too.
Yeah, I was a trumpet player for 10 years at one time, but that's a history that has long since been like laid to rest.
It's not like riding a bike. You always got it.
No, actually, I stopped. I quit playing when digital sampling came out, because digital sampling is was like, you can the union scale at the time was $75 an hour. So to hire a sax player and a trumpet player, that's $150.
Wow.
So you say multiple takes, go back and redos, it can easily get expensive. So you can hire a keyboard player and sample the horn.
All of that.
But now people really want to hear like the real instruments. But it is kind of rare to find people that really, not rare to find people that play, because a lot of people they particularly don't want to get into the aspect of really learning how to play an instrument unless they're very, very passionate about it. I was passionate about it for 10 years, and then I decided I was going to be a keyboard player. So yeah, I mean, you'll get something on there. I just have to decide.
Yeah, pull something up for us. Now, LJ, did you were singing in a band yourself, my good lady. Now, did y'all have live musicians, or did y'all sing against music tracks?
We actually had people that played. There was a drummer. We had a bass player. I do believe there was someone on saxophone also. Yeah, that was a little ragtag band we put together, in the religious community that I had belonged to at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty neat because we became the entertainment for different types of functions like showers, birthday parties, not so much birthday parties, actually wedding receptions, I should say. Yeah, we were really popular. We ran the Kingdom Hall wedding reception circuit.
Nice.
So you have road stories then, right?
Hall, I might have gave away the religious community, but anyway, pray for me.
Well, I've got a special surprise for you tonight, LJ, because for our first couple shows, you were beautiful in reading your vision statement, and you asked me for mine, and I didn't have it memorized. I kept forgetting
finally
it.
Brought it.
I finally brought it tonight, so I want to read it to you tonight right now. Okay, is that all right?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. My vision in life is to inspire and motivate others so they can find their own true purpose, and in doing so, we can all produce and share our talents and gifts to create something bigger than any single one of us.
I really like that.
Thank you.
That is your calling. Absolutely. That's great.
Thank you. That goes into my ultimate title that I've always wanted to drift into somehow, whether you think it fits me or not, but executive producer somehow. And matter of fact, I got a chance. I squeezed it in on the Exposure CD, so when it gets printed, you'll see executive produced by L.A. Jackson on it.
But I got a question.
Yes, sir.
It seems like I recall this project that was done. Back Artists Against Gun Violence. Weren't you the executive producer on that project?
I forgot all about that. That's true. I was, me and my friends, I was one of 3 cats that put that project together. And you're right, Mr. Chuck. You don't, nothing gets by you, dog. What's up, man? This guy's just like that camera he's holding in his hand. He just keeps a permanent print somewhere in his brain.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a facts guru. If it's something I'm really interested in.
Man, and that was a great project, man. Right after Derwin Brown, and you guys, incidentally, will find that whole story about the Atlanta Artists Against Gun Violence in my book, Musicology 2101, a quick start guide to music biz history. I don't know what page it's on, but it's in the beginning chapters, and it just documents how Derwin Brown ran for sheriff of DeKalb County. Yeah. He got killed. He won, and then he got one before he
like a week or so prior to him assuming that office. Yeah,
so we made that CD and dedicated it to his mother, and we had all of the artists that were on that album perform at the Mother's Day Million Mile March at Grant Park, and that was just the most incredible thing. Not one artist was left out.
Wow.
And I also want to bring this back to Sir Rod by saying that Sir Rod was the one that gave me some very, very good information that I had to include in musicology when I was talking about Africa. And Sir Rod told me that the African drummer was the original person that did the first text messages
The African drums
before the
was
cell
text
phone.
message.
Yeah, because when the slaves came, they took the drums away from the slaves.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Because if
Communicating.
one was on one plantation and 3 or 4
Communicating.
miles away it was another one, I would know
What they're saying.
his drum patterns.
Oh, they were talking with each other.
Yeah, and they would talk. So it was illegal by penalty of death
But
for
it's
you
not
to
drugs.
drum.
That's what I would tell kids.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that because a lot of times we don't take the time to really get into our history. But we have a very, very fascinating history here in the United States, and a lot of that is in Musicology 2101.
And it's a great teaching source,
Yeah, excellent.
and it also helps to tie in with the students